last page notes. So I went ahead and wrote this out, a squared, so the same thing times the same thing, give me 9, same thing times the same thing, give me 16, this is the middle. So we're going to complete these squares. So basically we have a missing middle term and we gotta find it. So we know that a squared was 9. So that means a must have been 3 because 3 times 3 is 9. But how do you get that? Remember, you can take the square roots. Square root of a squared, square root of 9. You technically get a positive. Let me erase some of this and redo it. You technically, when you square root, get a positive or a negative 3 because positive 3 times positive 3 is 9, negative 3 times negative 3 is 9. But for our purposes, let's just make it positive 3. Okay, so a is 3. So a is 3. B squared was 16. So if I square root both sides of the equation, b equals, remember it's positive or negative 4, but we're just going to use positive 4 right now. Now, if I know that a is 3 and b is 4, how do I get this? So I know that this is really 3 plus 4 squared. So how do I get this middle one then? Remember that it's just 3 times 4, a times b. You get 12 and you have 2 of them. So I can just multiply by 2, or I can add it again and I get 24 plus 24. So remember, this is our perfect square that we created, perfect square trinomial. So 9 plus 24 plus 16 is a perfect square. You can write it out, actually write it out. I'm just abbreviating so I'm not wasting your time too much. It's a perfect square because 3 plus 4 times 3 plus 4 equals, or can be expressed as 9 plus 24 plus 16. Let's prove that what we did was correct. 3 plus 4, don't forget the squared, okay, is really 3 plus 4 times 3 plus 4. 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 4 is 12, 4 times 3 is 12, and 4 times 4 is 16. So we have the 9, we have the 16. Remember, we can just combine the two middle terms. 9 plus 24 is 16. Remember that the reason it's a perfect square is because we multiplied the same thing times the same thing to get this. Let's try it again. So we know that a squared is 36. So a squared is 36. So to get a, I take the square roots. So remember, we're just going to stick with the positives for now. A equals 6, because 6 times 6 is 36. You could use the negatives if you want. If you're curious, it'll work out the same way. Just trying to simplify this for now, like for most everybody at this time. This one is b squared was 25. So if I square root that, b is 5. So and we're trying to get this middle term, but we know that the middle term is 2ab, which is really just 2 times, if you want to put 6 there and 5 there, you can also do that. So 2 times 30, and you get 60. So a was 6, b was 5, so we can express it as 6 plus 5 because it's positive 5. And then we would end up with the middle term of plus positive, or positive 60, we'll say. We'll end up with the middle term of positive 60. Y'all know how to do the statement. Remember, for the proof, all you got to... we forgot our square, or I forgot my squared. Remember, for the proof, I need to prove that that something to the second power, specifically 6 plus 5 squared, same thing times same thing, will give me 36 plus 60 plus 25. All right, one last area. All right. It's not difficult things when we're walking through it, but it does take some time. So let's go ahead and try to find this. Let's say we're missing this last term, right? Well, we know that we can get a by taking the square root. So a is 4, positive or negative 4, but let's say we're positive again, right? But this time we want to know b, because we need to write it like this. We need to write it right here. So we know a is 4, but I need to know what b is. Well, I know what 2ab is this time. 2ab is 24, positive 24. And let's just put an a. We know a is 4, so 2 times 4 times b is 24. Let's simplify before we solve. 2 times 4 is 8. 8b is 24, so we divide by 8. b is 3. So if I know b is positive 3, I know that 3 times 3 is positive 9. And then you do the same sort of proof. So let's do one more. All right, so we know that a squared is 25. So let's square roots. A is 5. Or you could use negative 5, like I said. We know that the middle term, 2ab, is negative 70. It can be expressed as negative 70. Once again, we know that a was 5, so let's substitute that in. So 2 times 5 is 10. B, 70. We divide by 10. B equals 7. So if I know that a is 5 and b is 7, oh, I forgot my negative sign. Negative 70, negative 70, negative 7. So I'm gonna rewrite this. B equals negative 7. It's mostly that negative 7 I want to make sure you can see. So instead of writing 5 plus 7, we need to write 5 minus 7 squared. Remember that negative 7 times negative 7 goes right here, so it's positive 49. All right, that was a little long, but shouldn't be too hard. Thank you.